This live is meant to warn you against scammers. So, what can you expect from scammers? And, well, what can you do to recognize them? And what if one scammer knows another one? So, I'll be having a guest shortly if I know how to invite my guest to join. So, let's see. Um, here, I've got a guest waiting. Good. So, hello, just me.
Mm.
Hi there.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just perfect. So, I just announced that we are going to talk about scammers, how to recognize them, and to be very wary of those who say they warn you against scammers. So, you have experienced a thing or two when it came to scammers. Ooh. So, where do you want to start? Um,
Uh, mm, uh, if I started from August 21,
yeah.
I was talking with a scammer who was pretending to be a famous actor. And I talked with him a couple months, I think. And I didn't pay anything to him, so he blocked me. And then a couple after weeks after other one to contact to me on Instagram, and I followed him to hang out and told him that I know he's not that actor, so he was ready to show his own face.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit about Google Hangout because when people ask you for a phone number, WhatsApp, and Google Hangouts, then immediately my alarm bells start ringing. So, why do they want you to go to Google Hangout?
It's because it's safe to them.
What makes it safe? Is it irregulated? Can they?
Uh, you can log in with any email,
Hmm.
so you can create any email and then log in to there, so you don't have to give your own information.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. So they can use basically any email account. It's non-traceable and no one is going to check it anyway. So that makes them safe. Is that correct?
Yes, but nowadays they use Google Chat because Hangout is not working anymore.
Yeah, I thought that that was the case. So, yeah. But so the first one, you said he got upset with you because you didn't want to pay. So what did he ask you to pay for?
It was a Hollywood membership card.
Hmm.
He was supposed to come my country and meet me, and I should have buy that card because at first he should have meet me as fan, and then make it public that we are a couple and all kind stuff like that. So
Wow. So even before he had met you, he
yeah,
said, okay, become a VIP, and
yeah.
then we are going to announce we are a couple. Didn't that seem a little weird?
Yes. Um, the funny thing about that was that I by that time I was thinking that was I more scared about that I would meet that actor, or that communicating would stop. So I was so hooked to that
Hmm. Okay.
communicating.
Yeah, you were worried that you were never going to talk to him again now that you finally were in touch.
Yeah.
So didn't it strike you as odd? Like, why would he announce that we are a couple when he doesn't know me?
Yes, of course, but when someone knows what to say and is really good doing it, it's really easy to fall for that scam.
Mm.
Even that you know that there are scammers, and
So he was convincing, but not convincing enough.
yeah.
Okay. So you recognized it. So when you said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pay for it," then what? You said he got mad. So what did?
Uh, I just first he got mad, and then he was like, um, "Okay, it's all right." And then I didn't hear anything from him, and week or two after it, he did block me.
So what did he say? You said he was mad. So what did he say? Did he call you names? What? What?
No, it was more like that he did think that he was founded that one, that special one for him, and now I won't pay for meeting him, so I must not love him, and oh, it's
So how long had you been talking to him before he declared that you were the one who loved him and that you were going to announce one another to be a couple? Are we talking about weeks, days,
uh,
months, years?
uh, I think it was pretty soon, maybe after 2 weeks.
After
And
two
then
weeks, wow.
he wanted blood out.
I think 2 weeks is pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So didn't that seem weird?
Yes.
So what did you say to him?
Mm, I can't remember correctly, but I told him that I'm careful, that I want to believe him, but um, I must be careful. And
Sure.
uh, but I couldn't say to him that I don't believe he is not him, because if I thought that if there is little chance that he would be this person, I couldn't miss that chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Well, I would say to anyone who's listening, if you ever meet someone online, you cannot see their face. They are saying they are whatever famous actor they are, or musician, or whoever. Um, don't trust them. I mean that's basically the first warning sign that someone tells you that they love you, that they want to get out there, but you don't see their face. Um, and they come up with all these excuses, but yeah, I'm on set, I don't have time right now. Really? That's basically the first clue that something is off. Because if someone actually wants to have a relationship with you, then they will get out there and they will be publicly announcing, like, hey, I got to meet that person. But let's face it, the only way you get a relationship with someone and get to be a couple in 2 weeks is actually if you get to meet one another pretty quickly and see one another face to face. Otherwise, it's just not realistic. So you realize pretty quickly, okay, this guy is not the real deal. So he accused you of not loving him, and then what? Oh no, I think she's gone. What's happening? Well, then I'll continue on a little bit myself. Um, so what I've noticed when it comes to scammers is that when it comes to, oh, she's waiting. There we go. Yeah, you were gone all of a second.
This
There she comes.
line,
Yes, hello.
I think there is a
Oh,
time.
there's a time limit. Yes,
Time,
I'm
yeah.
going to change that now. It's new to me also. For all the viewers out there who are listening, please be aware that this is a little bit new to me, but I do see the countdown there. I just don't know how I can change the countdown. So if anyone is watching this and they can send me a message how I can change the countdown, then please do, because all I see is that I can actually tap on your name. But I will get you back in, so no worries.
Yeah.
So so you told him no. He said you don't love me, and then what?
Uh, mm, then we start talking less and less and less, and then he blocked me on Hangout.
Okay. Well, the mere fact that he blocked you already said something, right? That's not
Yeah.
entirely normal. So you got approached by someone else, and this person pretended to be that same actor, right?
Yes.
So then what? What was different, or what was the same?
Um. He also asked me um, to come on Hangout, and the funny thing was that he kind of already knew that I don't have money. This was 2 weeks after I
Oh,
started talking.
yeah. Then you
Uh,
already know. That's weird.
yeah, and in 2 days he was ready to show his own face. At first, I talk about this my what I call it my special fake because I felt this really strong bond with
Mm-hmm.
this first one. Uh, so this guy promised me that he will try to get contact to this other, and he did.
So he wants you to get in contact with the first scammer or with the
Yeah,
actor?
first camera.
Okay. So when he approached you, did he say he was the actor as well?
Yes,
So okay, so you have the first scammer says I am X, then we have the second one who says I'm X as well. That person knows you don't have any money and then says I will get you in contact with the scammer being X.
yeah.
So he still pretended to be the famous actor, but as the famous actor, he said, I'm going to bring you in
No,
contact
no.
with
By that, he was already shown
exposed.
his face.
Okay, so you already knew this is not the real deal. This is
Yeah,
scammer number two. And he was going to get you in contact with scammer number one.
Yes,
Why
I
would he do so?
um because he wanted to be my friend, and mm, he wanted to help me to uh, be able to ask things from this first scammer.
So why would you want to know about the first scammer?
Mm, because I would like to mm, talk with him and see if there was a real connection, or was it all a scam?
A real connection, as in with the artist, or a real connection between you and him being the scammer?
The person I was talking with.
Okay. So did you know by then um, who you were talking to? As in, did you have a real name or a real background, or so? What did the pictures actually show you? Was the video, or was it just a single picture?
It was a video call.
A video call. Okay, so
Yeah.
you could actually see him talk.
Yeah.
Well, so how much did he look like the actor?
Nothing alike.
Okay, so so where did he come from? Can you tell, or are you like, well, let's not?
And Nigeria.
Okay, and the famous actor, he was supposed to be from where?
United States.
Okay, and then of course there are a lot of different cultures in the United States. So do you happen to have a clue?
Uh,
Was the white
Clue.
guy African American?
Yeah, yeah. It was a total different thing. Yes, but
He was Caucasian. He was white.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes that's quite a contrast, of course. So, when you made the video call, then he said, "I'm going to help you get in touch with scammer number one."
Yeah.
Did you ever get the answers you were looking for? What answers were you looking for?
Mm, he was continued to ask money, so I realized it that at he was just after money. So I said that I won't give, and he blocked me again.
Hmm. So he brought you in contact with scammer number one. Scammer number one again asks you for money. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of guts. So, what was his reason for asking you money this time around? Because he couldn't pretend to be the actor anymore.
Um, he said that he is out of work right now, and he needs to get food on the table.
Ah, okay. So, he needed you to sponsor him, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so scammer number two, what did he want from you?
Mm, first, he said that he wants to be friends with me,
Hmm.
and because I was curious, I said yes. And then we um, started to talk on WhatsApp,
Hmm.
and it was like from morning till late evening.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but uh, like 70 to 100 messages a day.
Say again? How many?
70 to 100. 100.
Wow. That's an insane amount of messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it did work because you were in close contact, and when people are in close contact, there's this hormone which gets released. So that's the oxytocin hormone. It's basically what moms connects to the little babies the first time around they see their little one. And it's known that in order to create a friendship and have it evolve, that it's good to talk to one another all the time. So he basically didn't give you time anymore to how do I say it, to get away from him. You couldn't talk to anyone else. I mean, he was constantly keeping you busy.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, that's quite a lot. I think we are going to be disconnected again. Yes, we are disconnected again. I'm sorry for the viewers out there. Um, for me, it's Neil, so I'm still trying to figure out how I can change the amount of time. But she's joining, and I think this is a very interesting interview up till now. So here we are for another 10 minutes. So he basically separated you from anyone else out there by keeping you occupied.
Yes.
So how was that for you? Were you aware what he was doing? That he was basically separating you from everything that was familiar and from everyone who could say you watch out, this person cannot be trusted.
Um, at first, I didn't develop any feelings towards him. I was just curious
Mm-hmm.
and kept talking with him. Uh, uh, but um, uh, uh, he's told me some things about him which I now know that he lied. So first he said he was an orphan. Did I
Mm-hmm.
say it correctly? And he had one sister,
Mm-hmm.
and so he didn't have anyone to help him.
Mm-hmm.
So of course he wasn't working, and because of me, he did stop that scamming. That was what he said.
Okay. Oh, it sounds very kind that because a stranger he doesn't know but talks to like almost 100 times a day, that he stops the scamming. So did you actually talk about what it did to you, weekend?
Mm, yes.
So what do you think got to him? Did you actually think you got through to him, or was it a lie?
Mm, um, of course, I have doubts then. Um, all the time, I didn't believe all he said, but I think there might be some truth about the things he says. So I just kept chatting.
Okay. So, when it came to seeing other people, were you still interested in meeting up with other people because he kept you occupied? You were curious. So, did you talk to any friends? Did you have time to talk to any friends or family?
Mm, not that much.
Okay. So basically, with his sub story, I'm all alone. All I have is this star, and oh my, I don't have any money anymore because I don't have work, and my work used to be scamming others. How did that come across to you? Was it sheer curiosity, or did you really feel for the guy, even though he said, I used to make money as a living, but all of a sudden it's gone? I've never saved anything. And by the way, I feel so sorry for you that I'm going to live without anything, even though I used to earn a lot of money as a scammer for a living. Because, those two extremes are weird as well.
Yeah. Um, I think it was in that time that I just liked to talk with him.
Hmm. Okay. So what did it make you feel when he was talking to you?
By that time, it's uh, made me laugh, and I think it was fun
Hmm.
because I didn't have any feelings by that
Oh,
time.
yes. But, laughing, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having fun. So, yeah, I can understand that you wanted to keep hanging out with him. So, what happened next? Did it evolve any further?
Mm, I think it was October when we started to talk, and I think what it was mm, December when I did uh, mm, find his old Facebook profile, and the name what he was told me it was almost right name. So that is why I did find him. So
Yes.
I did see that he has uh, three sisters and one brother. And I
Hmm.
also find a woman I thought could be her mother.
Okay. So, when you said, hey, you said you had one sister and no parents, and as it turns out, you have three other siblings and a mother.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Um, I said him that I bet your parents are alive too. And
Hmm.
yeah, he did admit it.
Okay. So, did you become friends there on Facebook?
No, he doesn't use it anymore. At least that was he says.
Mm. Well, you could probably see if he had changed his profile picture or anything else. Uh,
No, it was about uh, it was 2020 when he has put anything on there.
mhm.
So
Yeah, what actually surprises me is that they actually put their own data on there. So I have seen my fair share because I'm also an admin in certain groups of people who pretend to be one person, and then when you click on their names, then you actually see that their likes, their interests are totally different. So on the surface, they might actually pretend to be like that actor from that same place. They know the place of birth, um, and then pretty quickly, then things start to vary. So you could see what he liked, and that's the thing when someone pretends to be someone else. Please check this. So there was a little sidestep. So after he admitted that he had lied, that his parents were still alive, then what?
um, he said that he was really sorry, and uh, he said that he didn't think that I would stay talking to him.
Yeah.
Uh, that was why he didn't tell all the true things right away,
Mhm.
because the way we meet
Yeah.
on scam, so that was his reason. And I think by that time he got some trust on me. He
Because you
didn't.
still were talking to him, even though you knew he had lied.
Yeah.
You think that's the reason he trusted you?
Mm, mm, now
Was more.
it's it now it sounds little funny, but yes.
Okay, well, I can imagine that if you know someone is doing things, wrong things, whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, but when you still hang out with them, that usually tells something about the other one. So, and then of course he can let his guard down, which is a good thing for him. But then, so how long did you keep on talking to him?
Mm, uh, oh, I will continue when I
Yeah,
will be
so we
back.
were going for the break, and when the break is over, then my guest is going to return with more juicy details about the scam artist and the scammer. He knew the scam artist and what that meant. So I think it's a very intriguing story, quite honestly. So welcome back.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so then what? You knew he had lied. He started trusting you.
Yeah.
You were having fun, and then how long did that continue on?
Um, months.
Okay, for months.
But I would like to go step by step.
Mhm.
So he started to do that work, like he
Mhm.
said. Again,
Mhm.
he opened an Instagram account, and he sold that account to me. And
Oh, so he
he
started
wrote,
scamming,
yeah,
and he told you that he was scamming other people.
yeah.
Oh, how did that make you feel?
Mm, well, he said that he want to get money so that he can come and meet me.
Okay, so he needed others to betray others in order to meet you. How did that
Yeah.
make you feel?
Uh, uh, I thought that he would not have any other means to mm, get money, uh, but it doesn't feel good.
Okay, so
But
by
uh, it meant something to me that he did show this account and also those chats he had with those potential clients, as he
Mhm.
said, victims.
So he called the victims clients, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. So you were experiencing on one hand, oh, it's flattering that he wants to meet me, and that's why he's doing it again. On the other hand, you knew this was at the expense of savings of other people.
yeah,
So that must have really been tormenting you.
yes. Uh, but it took really long time before I saw that someone is was going to fall for victim to him.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like he could immediately sweep someone off their feet and make them believe that he was the one and only actor they
Yeah,
started out with.
it's more likely that they can, as they say, work to up to 2, 3 years before they can get someone to pay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's new, and that's news to me. I didn't know. Good to know, by the way. So, hey, do you have any idea? Did he tell you why the people didn't trust him? Why it took them 2 to 3 years to actually believe that he was the one and only actual actor?
One reason is that there are so many scam accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So and people are careful, and then most those women were not rich enough to, so they have to find someone who will trust and also have money.
Yes. Okay, so has he told you how many people, uh, colleagues, if you will, were out there pretending to be that same actor or another actor? Uh,
He has two friends who are twins,
hmm
and those I know that they got someone to pay because they bought a car with those money.
Okay, so this is not just about living, as in putting food on the table or getting a roof over the head. They went straight for a car.
Yeah.
Well, so what did you think when you heard like they bought a car from that money? Because
Uh,
this has nothing to do with a love story anymore, right?
no, no. It's the I was talking about that thing to him, and he said that he is different.
Yes, as
That
in.
those twins are living in house that then their mom owns, so they don't really need money.
So why do you think that their mom allowed them to earn money, um, and buy a car? I mean, something must have seemed off to the parents. Did he ever talk about that, or
Um, I think it's more like that. Parents will look the other way
okay?
because these scammers usually have also girlfriends, and they use the money they get from victims as clients, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
to use them girlfriends
Mm-hmm.
because over there, guy needs to pay everything when they go on date. If you are
Okay.
poor, you don't have a girlfriend.
Okay. So he wanted to meet you. Um, you also knew he didn't have money. At some point, he did have money because he started scamming other people, even though it could take up to 3 years before he would actually make money. So, was his goal to make enough money to meet you?
Um, that was what he said. And
Okay.
that's the thing. I have talked with another guys who had done that same scamming word, and this guy is, uh, to me, he is different than those others have been. So there is a little part of me which wanted to believe him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what made you mistrust him again?
Um, It was last summer. Uh, he posted on his Instagram, WhatsApp status picture of a girl,
Hmm.
and there was hearts and kissing lips. These emojis.
No. Yeah, that's a little
Okay,
weird.
then. But he said that no, it's just their church uh, queen. Uh,
Yeah.
so, but then that was time when I was starting to fall apart.
Yes,
But I
because
still wanted to talk with him. But I came more careful again.
so did he still send you like 100 messages a day? Did you still video call despite the sort of betrayal?
Um, mm, Video calls not that often, but chatting was same
Okay.
by that time. But then in October, I think,
Yeah.
um I saw on TikTok this girl's account,
Mm-hmm.
and I found pictures of them together.
Mm. So there was more going on than he said there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have made you furious. So in 10 seconds, we'll be into the next break. And of course, you will come back again. So for those who are listening in, we are talking about someone who, oh, hang on. We talk about someone who has been contacted by a scammer pretending to be a famous person. Then when she said, "No, I'm not going to give you money," then his friend came to her, knew that she didn't have any money, pretended at first to be that same actor, then realized it didn't work, showed his true colors, pretended that he was all alone except for having a sister. Next, my guest found out that he actually had siblings and that his family was still alive, which he admitted. So he did have parents. And then at first he said he had stopped conning other people. So the victims were clients, yes, clients of all people. And next, he started scamming again in order to be able to meet our guest. But then he did something really stupid. There were messages online on social media showing hearts and kisses from him to another one, and then actually there were pictures of him and the girlfriend. So that's where we at. And then what? Because you kept talking to him. Um,
Mm,
even though you must have been devastated.
yes, and that was the time that he said that he really scared that he will lose me. And uh, so he said that he can't date that girl because his sister is married to this girl's brother, so it's forbidden there.
Hmm.
And he made that girl to delete all those pictures on TikTok.
Okay, okay. So he pretended to be single again, waiting for you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that was the time that things started to turn to worst.
Yeah. So what happened that it got bad?
Um, mm, I started to give less money.
Good on you. Oh, hang on. You did give him money. So the first one you didn't give money. So when did
Yeah.
you start giving him money?
Mm, it was when I found out his real name that and he had family and he showed me this fake account and that was the time I started to give him some money.
Oh, okay. So this is actually very interesting if we listen to it. I mean, when he's still pretending to be someone else, when he's lying about his heritage, about his parents, being a single one, not having any money, you don't give him anything. And then the moment that he actually comes clean about who he is and that he does have parents, that's when you start to give him money. So what made you change? Why did you decide to give him money? Was this before you or after you started scamming people again?
Mm, just before.
Okay, so what made you give him money? Because he finally was honest? Was it like a reward on your end?
Um, I was thinking that I can give him money. That if I'm able to trust little, then if I lost that money, that won't feel so bad. I was
Okay,
always talking to him that most important thing is that he's honest to me.
so what did he say he did with your money?
Mm, uh, food mostly.
Okay, so he didn't buy a car like his friends did.
No, he
Do you
don't
know
know
if
how to
that's
drive.
okay? So do you know if that was actually true? And I do believe that there are a lot of people out there who, if they can scam people and call them clients instead of victims, then I do believe that if they buy a car, they don't need to know how to drive, they just do it. It's called
Uh,
because I can. So,
yeah.
how certain were you that the money was actually going to someone who needed food?
Mm, well, I think that he used some money to clothes too, but that was fine to me.
Okay. So what happened next? Because at some point he began scamming people, and he told you.
Yeah, but as far I know, he didn't get money, and by that point, I had strong feelings for him, and I wanted him to be able to eat.
Okay, okay. So how many times a day did you were in touch? Because you said before you had video calls and up to 100 messages a day. So
Uh, it after October, after I found these pictures of him and that girl, um, it was still a lot, 20 to 50 messages a day.
okay. Well, that's quite a lot, and quite honestly, I have to wonder if I were his girlfriend. And of course, you said she couldn't be his girlfriend because her sister or her brother was married to the other one's sister. Anyway, it was a little mixed up relationship. So, and the pictures were deleted in the end. So then what? You started developing more feelings. Did you give him more money?
Um, I once gave him money that he could start a business.
What kind of business?
Um, he um, clothes business. So, but the money wasn't enough.
No,
Uh,
because
he he said that he think thought it was enough, and mm, but it wasn't. So he went back to scamming.
Okay. Well, that's quite a difference. So, um, what did he do with the money that you gave him? And we are getting a compliment. This is a good interview.
Um, mm, oh, by that time, I was wait a minute. When I did give this money for this clothes. It was same time that after that I saw these pictures, and I get so mad, of course, and
Hmm.
mm, then he accepted, and then I also reported his fake account
Hmm.
because I couldn't do it because he was writing to me as himself there. So they saw that it wasn't this actor.
So you were giving him money. You
Yeah,
knew he was. You didn't agree with him scamming, and so hence you, despite giving him money, you did report his fake accounts. So you, on one hand, you wanted to warn people,
yeah.
and on the other hand, you were like, um, I will still help you out. Just don't, you know, um, scam other people. So we are going to leave for in 17 seconds again. So that's a little break, and in the meanwhile, one of our listeners is telling, knowing Nigerian scammers, the only truth he was telling is the fact that he is Nigerian. Everything else was a lie. Well, we've already established that. And scammer one and scammer two were exactly the same person, or they are part of the same scammer group. Yes, he already said that the scammer knew the other one, so that's correct. So she's coming back in. So I don't know if you heard what I actually said during the break.
Yeah,
And so the other one said, like, oh, the only true thing is that he actually said, I'm Nigerian. And then the second thing is he might actually have been that first person, or he knew the other one,
I
of course, in
believe that
personal.
he was that first person, that he wanted to try uh, to learn my life as himself because he was uncovering himself so fast.
Yeah, because the first person you said had bought a car,
Uh,
and this person
no,
didn't
no,
know how
no,
to
no,
drive.
no. His friends who had scammed money, those are twins, and
Okay.
they do the work together, and
Hmm.
they have better tools.
Okay. So was he or was he not scammer number one?
Um, he never said he was, but he said it was someone else, and he said name. He showed me the scammer's Instagram, and mm, I don't know. Maybe it might be that guy,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, but
It's
um,
it's probably the first
but
time you
he
ever
did
consider this.
know about me when he did contact me.
Yeah.
That's I'm sure about.
Okay. 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 So you reported all the fake accounts, and
He has always had just one.
oh, okay. So you made sure it was reported.
Yeah.
Um, well, like we knew you had given him money, and then what happened next?
Um, um,
Because there you were in love with the guy because you were talking so much, and like I said before, it's when you're constantly in touch with someone, even when you haven't seen it, you do make that hormone, so oxytocin. So it makes sense that you thought you were in love with him. It's your brain
yeah.
telling you something.
Yeah, and then I think I did change a little.
Was that
Mm.
because you gave him money for the business and it didn't work out? Or
Yeah.
because what did he do with the money eventually? Did he ever tell you?
Um, he had to buy a laptop and new phone that he could start the scamming again. He used that money, my money, to
He
start.
used your money to
Money to
scam
start.
others.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that must have been horrific. That
yeah,
you're using your money against others to get money from them.
yeah. But I got my payback.
Okay,
And same time I warned someone.
yeah. So you said you got your payback, as in he paid you back all the money that
No,
you gave to him?
no, I'm because I did
Or
warn him. He
yeah.
lost someone which I believe would have paid to him.
Okay, you basically had your revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
and same time I did
let's
warn
be
this woman.
yeah, let's be clear about this one. If someone is already talking to you constantly using video and sending text messages, then that person already has a phone and likely a computer, and he has subscription, so he has actually data to reach out to you. So you already know that, when people say, I need money for a phone and a laptop, that something is off, because if he didn't have one, he couldn't have established a phone connection with you or video
But
connection.
I did buy his data plans, not by giving him money or through an app.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you bought the stuff for him? Is that what you're saying?
A data plan so that he could talk to me.
Oh, okay. So you sponsored him so he could talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, he was good. You were good to him. So, would you be willing to say how much money by that time you had given him, or shall we keep that a secret?
I don't know by then, but mm, couple months ago, I realized that it was little over 5,000.
Wow. So if you hadn't given that money to him, what would you have done with the 5,000? If you could have saved it
Ah, now I would say that I would want to travel to uh, one
to,
place in United States.
to see the actual actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what changed? Because something must have changed. You got upset with him. Um, oh, and here's another question. When was the last time you spent $5,000 on yourself? That's a very good question. Thank you for asking this one.
Uh, I have done that because I have uh, bought something for my personal business. So I have used that kind of money to myself.
Hmm. And how does that
And
feel?
um, mm, uh, of course, if I think it too much, of course it will feel bad. But the thing is that even today,
Yeah.
I don't know that if the money is the only reason, because he's still talking to me.
Oh, he's still talking to you. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So let getting back to that question of the $5,000. So you said you did spend at some point $5,000 on yourself. You bought something. But have you done it recently?
No.
Okay. So, and that's of course the question, like, and that's why I asked you if you would have saved the money, what would you have done? You said I would travel now. So have you missed the money? Was it like a big chunk of your own living?
Uh, yes, I pretty much used all I got my business from my business last year.
Oh, this, so basically all you earned was
Um,
directly
uh,
invested in the guy.
yeah.
Do you regret it?
Mm, yes.
Okay. So if you regret it, how come you're still in touch with the guy?
Uh, mm, because I just want to see how long he will stay without I'm giving him any money anymore. So
So when
it
did
has
you cut
been
him off?
what?
When did you start cutting him off?
Um, mm, 2 months ago,
Okay, so what
two and a
changed?
half. He went more silent.
Okay, so he went more silent, and that's when you decided, I'm not going to give you any more money.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be getting to the next break in about 17 seconds. So I'm curious as to what actually made you continue to be in touch with him and why he's still in touch with you, even though you don't give him money. And and let's see, let's get the guest back in. So yeah, that's. I mean, it's like there is this relationship which is called codependent, and usually codependency means that one has something that the other one needs, and vice versa. So you're not giving him any money anymore.
Yes.
Um, is he still way more quieter, or does he
Now he
reach
is
out to you?
talking more.
Okay, so how do you feel right now? I mean, are you still in love?
I don't know. I have still some feelings, of course, but the problem is that I can trust him.
Mm-hmm. So you said
Yeah.
you warned others against him, right?
Yeah.
So you know you cannot trust him, and well, actually, when he realized he couldn't get anywhere with you, he went quiet.
Yeah.
And of course, he also knew that you had warned others against him.
Yeah.
So knowing all of this, what keeps you talking?
Mm, I don't know. I have blocked him many times, but I always find a way to beg me talking him to again, and he keeps saying that he's not after my money yet. Even if I give him money, or even if I don't give him money, he still wants me.
Do you believe him?
um I mm, think he might want to be in touch, but do I believe that he wants a life with me? No.
Okay. Because if we go back to the very first thing you said it's the obligation of the guy in Nigeria to take care of the woman. Well,
Yeah.
from everything we've heard, you have given him money, so it's been the other way around. So that must have done something with him because he basically is not a guy when it comes to Nigerian standards. Or it was, of course, a flat out lie, and um, women can pay for Nigerian men as well.
Yeah. To me, he said that uh, I talk about this thing that how it works there, and he says that don't think that like that. If you if you have money and you can help me, why wouldn't you help someone you love?
What's your answer?
Uh, uh, if I could, maybe I would, but I also said that things would have to go back to what it was before. Uh, so I'm maybe I'm a little bad myself. I'm uh, making him to him some what is the right word? Um, you know, if someone says that if you don't do that,
Hmm.
I won't do that. So
Yeah, so
uh,
you obligate him to do certain things or not to do certain things. So here is my question. You know, you cannot trust a guy. You know, he looks at victims as if they are clients. He asks you for money to start up a business, which he didn't use in the end. We won't talk about how much he said when it came to lying about his family. He disappeared on you at least once. You saw those pictures of those girlfriends. So we know you invested circa $5,000, but how much time? How much time of your life do you think you have invested in that guy?
mm,
Years?
20 months right now. So, but not that much anymore. But uh, too much time, I think. But mm, I kind of need that. I need to see that he will walk away when
So
I
you are
don't do them.
basically waiting on him to walk away.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you one question, one more. Um, all this time you're spending on him, besides the money, is time you can spend on your own business. So first of all, I want to applaud you for being here such a long time on this live. I think we must be talking for over an hour now. Not sure how many times you got in and out. Um, but again, if you can spend that time on something else. So is this sort of like revenge? Is it still you sort of love him? Is it you cannot let go as he cuts all contacts? So then we get back to a um, codependent relationship. So you still need him or his attention to feel good, and he needs you to sort of give him money, even though he says he doesn't want it. So, what if you were to invest that time that you're spending in your business or maybe here online to warn other people about those scam artists and how they make you feel? What would that make a difference to you?
Well, the thing is that I don't use that much time to him anymore. He has said me that I have changed,
Hmm.
And but he said that if I love him, I should not block him.
Do you love him?
I would want to say no, but I'm not sure if I can.
So after this interview that we've done, and you've said so many things about how you was dishonest, how you used your money to buy a phone and a laptop, which he probably did, by the way, to scam other people, which I still think he did, even though he said his business didn't start up. What makes it okay for you to be hanging out with someone that horrible, that sneaky, that lying?
Oh, I kind of want to believe that he isn't that bad than some others.
Okay, so basically it's your everlasting belief that other people can be good and that the one scam artist you are talking to has just that bit more decency than the others does. Is that it?
Maybe I know it sounds mm, stupid, uh,
Well, the
but
question is, if it sounds stupid to you or unbelievable, let's put it that way.
uh,
Um, why do you still do it? I mean, if you were to listen back to this interview the next days, weeks, months,
um, I'm not ready to give up yet.
okay. So can
Um,
we conclude that you're a romantic?
maybe.
Because that it sounds like you just want someone to love you and pay attention to you. But then again, you also know that there might be people out there who can give you the attention, but they cannot do it because you do still spend time on the guy.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I said, what's going to happen if you are going to spend all that time on yourself? So we are heading for the next break. So when we get back, we are going to hear what you think about spending time and money on yourself. Because now I'm kind of curious. So is it enough to be spending time on yourself to actually say, okay, I'm going to quit talking to this guy? Or is there something in our brain, and we get back to that chemical, which makes us like, I know it's not good. I know it's the wrong guy for me, but oh my God, I'm getting attention. So that may sound a little harsh the way I described it, but what do you say when I say it like that?
Um, uh, First of all, I'm already spending more time to myself,
Good,
to my business. I'm
good,
already putting myself first.
good.
So one thing is for sure that he has don't has that uh, hold on me anymore.
Hmm.
But there is just something which I can put in words that I need. I think I need to see that he will walk away. There
Okay.
is something I can describe it. So
You cannot cut the tie yourself
uh,
because he won't let you go. You do realize this, right?
uh,
If there's only the slightest chance that you are going to come back to him, you've given him 5,000 reasons not to leave.
Yeah, but on the second hand, I think that they will want, if they are after just money,
Hmm.
uh, they will want to get more and more all the time. And
Hmm.
if they don't get that money, they will stop talking. They will block you. They might be come back after some time and try again, but they don't stay in touch.
Well, you actually said it takes 2 to 3 years before they have found their next victim. So
Yeah,
you can just talk for the next 2 to 3 years to you.
yeah.
Mm. Grave, you think about that, that he might talk to you for the next 3 years, knowing that he's trying to scam others.
As far I know, he don't have a scam account now because he don't have money to buy.
Do you believe that?
They, I don't know, but they do sell those accounts, and the price depends on how many followers it has.
Oh, so actually they build up this fake account, get a whole bunch of followers, and then they sell it to another scammer. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Wow. Well, he can easily just do it again, just not tell you.
Uh, but he don't know. He has both those accounts. That is why I know. And
No, he just sets up another one. He's got enough money earned from the other ones.
yeah, but hmm, they sell those. It might be different actor, or it might be a whole different thing. That only what matters is that there are many followers.
Okay.
Uh, and when they have like 10,000 or more, then they will take much money from them. So,
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, like I said, I'm an administrator for some accounts, and I've noticed that if you actually just check it, then you'll see that at first they will say I'm an actor. Sometimes they even say I'm a musician. They will state the same place where the person lives and comes from. They might even use names of their children, which is a very bad thing to do, but yeah, they want to make it believable, of course. But once you go and check their groups and what they actually like, you will find out how, if the person is actually the person. And you can also look at the dates of the post. So when they copy or they clone the post, they are all made on that very same day. So just a little heads up for the people who are like, but how do I recognize it? Okay, so I'm going to ask you one last question. You said something had changed a couple of months ago. So did you start talking to people or anything? What made you change your mind?
oh, you.
Oh,
I
okay.
started to talk with you.
Okay. Well, that's good. But
Yeah.
currently, um, you still need more. So what has something in this interview changed something for you?
um, mm, uh, yes, it's good to talk about things, and when you say them, speak out, then you might see things in different point of view. Uh, but there is still this one thing uh, in the back of my mind that
Which,
makes me want to wait if he's going to block me. So the reason that I'm 100% sure that I know so much about him
Hmm.
that I could contact to EFCC, which is worse than police there. They can pay police off. So there. But there is this agency.
So
And
what
I
do
could,
you need? What do you need to say? I'm going to protect all those people out there, all those women who like to believe that this actor falls in love with them, wants to make public in 2 weeks' time to the whole world. This is the woman we love, even though we've never met. What would you want to tell to them?
um, mm, once, if you are contacted with someone, a celebrity or something like that, you can think that why on earth would this person need to search people online uh,
Mm.
amongst their fans? And if they send their first message, hello dear, uh, thank you for your endless love towards my career or something like that. And they also always say, ask these questions, uh, have you eaten, and how is your family, and things like that, but you don't get a proper conversation. Ah, sorry.
Yeah, when you don't get a decent conversation going
Conversation.
back and forth,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and it's more like this love poetry and these simple questions.
Hmm.
And I also want to say that if someone is dealing with a guy from Nigeria, uh, I think that they will always lie about something.
Okay. So having
I
said all
think
those
that
things,
is in the DNA.
hmm, so knowing all these things that you just said, and someone said that's a generalization. Um,
Oh, sorry, but they
yeah, of course, that
say,
doesn't
but
apply to all.
they guys keep saying it themselves. So, um,
Yeah, so when someone approaches you and tells you "I love you" and "How are you doing," without actually being interested in you, and then starts asking for money because that's the thing, then you already know, hey, listen, that's not the safe thing to do, especially when they pretend to be, of course, a famous actor. And that's why I say again and again and again, if someone reaches out to you and say, "Oh, I'm the personal assistant of," and he's so flattered that you say, "Oh, I love it, and I think you're the best," then of course they might be flattered. But the moment that they say, "Well, I'm that special assistant," then check the name, because sometimes they have the most ridiculous of names, and check their account, because I can tell you, you can literally recognize it by what groups they are connected to. And actually, it went so far that one person got sent a video, and he said, "I am," and then you could actually see him in the mirror, and he had a very different color. Okay, having heard what you said to all those other people, and let's see,
I
um,
have one
yeah,
more thing to say to all
yes,
people. Don't do like I did. Don't ever give money to someone you meet online.
thank you. I'm very appreciative of you saying so. And especially when it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Someone else said, just be on guard and know what to watch out for. Um, with everything you've said, say I was the person that all of this happened to. What would you say to me when I would say to you, but I still want to stay in touch and I'm still hoping that he's going to cut it off, even though I know it takes him 2 to 3 years to scam others? What would you tell
Uh,
me?
mm, Promise me that you won't give him a dime anymore.
Okay. Well, I probably can promise you that one, but how about the time?
uh, mm, it's more likely than I don't try to chat him up. So if he sends something, I will shortly reply. And I believe that it's going to end because
Okay.
I'm not going to give him money, and I know that that is at least the biggest reason he is
Hmm.
talking to me. Uh, but I also know that not all guys in the country is all about scam and all about mm, uh,
Wanting something from you?
yeah, but
Yeah.
of course, always people want something from others, but not all there are like that. But I still would be really careful about trusting every word they are saying
Yeah.
because they have
I'm
really different culture there. So
Yeah, I'm going to add something to all of this. When you don't know a person, whether the person is from your same country or a different country, but if you're never going to meet that person and you don't have any way to verify if the things that the other one is saying is true, and especially when you've caught the other one in a lie, then already, people be careful because this is the internet and your information can go anywhere. So for those listening, don't send any pictures. Be sure not to send any personal information and just be careful because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, of course, I don't believe that someone from Nigeria is actually going to travel across the pond. Um, but having said so, you still want to be a little bit careful, and you can only live your life once. Every second that you give to someone else better be worth it. And that's also what I want to say to you. Like, I'm
yeah,
happy that you don't give any money anymore, and I'm very happy that you actually now spend your time on warning other people. Um, Having said so, I know you're still hang up to the guy. I mean, you're still sort of a little bit in love. What's your next move going to be? Are you going to warn more people? Are you going to set
uh,
up social media pages? What are you going to do?
uh, I have this page on Facebook, and I think I will keep posting there little things about this journey I have been, and
So,
uh, give also here that if people don't do have something they want to ask
hmm
about, if they think they are maybe talking with someone who might be scammer, uh, I can listen, and like I said, I have inside information. Uh,
yeah.
so
So what is the name of your Facebook page? Do you want to share it on here?
um, he trusted me.
Okay. So he trusted me. Why did you decide to call it He Trusted Me? Because it sounds like you trusted him. And at some point, of course, he did start to trust you until he didn't really do it anymore. So,
Because he has told me so much about that
So what do you need? I'm just going to ask it one more time. What do you need in order to go to the international agencies out there and say, this is the guy, this is how the network works. I don't want to be associated with this guy anymore. Because if they're going to roll up the network and your name pops up, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you need in order to say I'm going to make a clean break and I'm going to report him to those official agencies who can actually do something about it?
Um, I would have to have proofs that someone has paid to him that
Well,
I
you
could.
did. You
Uh,
did 5,000.
yes, but I have given those to him. So I think that it has to be like um that impersonating someone else. I'm not sure about that, but what I have wrote this far that if I would have proof of that,
So are
I
you
would.
waiting for him to give you proof? Is that it?
Uh, no, if he is still doing it, I don't know. I don't want to know anything about it anymore.
Hmm. So then comes the question, why do you still want to be associated with the guy?
I I don't talk much with him, but I don't know why. I need to see that he will leave when I don't give him money, or then that he start to uh, be more silent. If
Okay,
he does that, I will block him.
okay.
But if
So
he
when,
keeps communicating, um, like not all the time, but more than one message in day, then mm, if I feel that he is interested about what is happening in my life, then I can talk with him. Uh, but if he starts to ask money, or he will go silent or do something else like that, and then I will block him
yes.
again.
So
I'm
this
repairing
is
myself to do
so
so.
we get another comment. Sometimes develop an attachment to our abusers. You need to completely cut him off. I'm actually a little almost terrified with what you said. If he's showing interest in me, that you might actually start talking more to him. I really hope you do not, because you cannot trust him. Um, so when someone abuses someone, and it's mental abuse, and that's why I said at first what he did when talking to you, like sending you 100 messages and doing a video call. Yeah, we are on a break again. Then at that moment, he was keeping you away from your loved ones, your friends, and your family. And that's basically what abusers do. People who want to dominate you and want to take advantage of you, they will keep you away from other people. And um, I know I can't ask you, but I'm so inclined to say to please, please don't give him more attention, even if he gets more interested in you.
I
Because,
won't. I can promise that I
yes,
won't use much time to him. I'm focusing on myself, and I also want to, if I can help uh, someone to not fall in this trap I
hmm,
have fall, um, it would give me strength
yeah,
that this all would have been some kind of word if what I have experienced uh, could help others
yes,
not to, because it's so hard to cut it off. It's
Okay.
really hard.
Well, it sounds like some sort of addiction, like other people
Yeah.
have to alcohol and such. I suggest we wrap it up for today. We've reached over 50 listeners, so that's a good thing. So that means people are really interested in knowing about these kinds of stories. Thank you so much. I hope we can do this soon again, and then hopefully with a little bit of a different outcome on your end. But for now, I want to applaud you for being this brave, for
Thank
having
you.
been here talking with me for such a long time. And hopefully, the whole thing has been recorded because I know there's a time limit to what it records. But again, thank you for being so brave and so vulnerable. I know it takes a lot of guts to talk about this. And I hope other people will applaud you too for what you're doing and encourage you like, hey, we are out there for you. We are encouraging you to start living your own life. And of course, warning other people is always a good thing. So thank you once more.
Ah, okay.